And then he grabbed me, and to get me closer and tried to feel on me. I turned around and I slapped him like I hit those drums. And I just,
Good for you. Hey everybody, I'm Loni Love, comedian, talk show host, and Emmy winner.
Oh, well, I'm Erica Montalvo, writer, showrunner, and the Emmy winner's super fun sidekick.
That's right, Erica, and thank you all for joining us for another episode. We have got a great one today. For our grown-ass topic, we will be talking with my girl, Sheila E,
Woo!
about being a woman in a male-dominated field. But before we dive in, we want to give a shout-out to all of our listeners who have been sending us emails and recordings. We love hearing from you guys. If you want to share your thoughts on the show, tell us what's on your mind. Send us a voice note at gawtpod@gmail.com or record a voice message on our website, gawtpod.com. And if you're listening to this on your phone, follow us on Instagram. We make some great posts. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Please subscribe.
And finally, guys, we have a special request for all of our grown-ass listeners. We're on a mission to reach 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and we're almost there, guys. So help us out by subscribing to our channel and sharing our video with your friends.
And now that we've done all of that, let's catch up with Erica. Erica, what's on your mind?
Well, first of all, I was very happy to have spent my birthday with you. We had the best time.
That was very sweet of you. Thank you for coming.
It was sweet of you. We had so much fun. Let me tell y'all, Loni Love don't play. She is funny as hell. You think she's funny on this show? In live in the real world, this bitch is hilarious. So we had so much fun, and she, made me feel special. I walked into her saying, "Oh, speaking of skinny bitches, here comes Erica." I was like, "Okay, here we go. We're off to the races." But you proceeded to send me some cheesecake, so thank you for that. And we just had so much fun. You were just so lovely. You met all my friends, and it was a blast.
Corona, babe.
No!
Let's not skirt over that issue.
Everybody,
I met Corona, babe, and really nice man. Very, very nice. He's a musician, right?
An actor and a musician, yeah.
Oh, an actor and a musician.
Yes, he's
Hello.
very creative. That's my type. It's funny because in case you guys haven't listened or heard in the past, Corona Bay is my on and off again boo for since before Corona, which is why he's Corona Bay. We kind of got locked down together. And I had a lot of backlash early on because I mentioned him and called him Corona Bay. And he hates being called Corona Bay because I think he feels like it, reduces him to being a little side piece or whatever. But a couple weeks ago, Loni and I gave him a real name, but even that turned into a whole thing. He's like, "Well, I don't need to be telling my name to everybody." And I was like, "Well, listen, either you want to be Corona Bay or you want your name out. What do you want? And stop listening to my show. It's not for you." I've spent my last 3 birthdays with him. We are basically a couple, but I think when you don't define it, it's then everything becomes a thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So when I called him Corona Bay, that becomes a thing. Then he called me a cougar. That became a big thing, remember? So everything becomes a thing, and we need to basically shit or get off the pot is what it is. But neither one of us are willing to do that. So
y'all two not gonna worry me. I'll just keep asking every week about you two. What else is going on with you?
Well, listen, yes, I'm happy to move on from that. I will tell you, I had a little conversation with Claire Huxtable, my mother, who is an avid listener to the show, and she's become very much a fan because she thinks we're getting better and better every week. So she loved last week's episode with Kate.
Wow.
Because it was and Kate is amazing, and if anyone hasn't listened to it, she talks about grief and is so open about her situation where she lost her dad. But of course, Claire can't get out of a conversation with only positive. She's got to, she's like,
we need the critical.
Thank you. So thank you, Claire. She said, the one negative I will say, and of course it's about me, it's never about you. She said, maybe it's the laugh. You laugh a lot. I was like, well, I'm like, first of all, yeah, because Loni makes me laugh, legit, she makes me laugh. And she's like, well, I never heard you laugh like that before. And I was like, well, maybe because you're not funny.
Okay.
But Loni legit makes me laugh. So I'm sorry, everybody, if my laugh is off-putting, but I'm legit laughing because Loni Love makes me laugh. So there you go.
Well, this is a growing medium that we're doing. So you find out what's good, what's not. And everybody has their little quirks, but I like your laugh. So,
well, listen, I can't help it. Listen, and I'm usually behind the camera. So I'm usually laughing behind the camera so they can cut me out.
I love it. And we love Miss Claire and everyone else out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's enough about you, Erica.
Thank you.
Let's move on to our new segment, the Grown Ass Woman of the Week. It's our way of spotlighting women making a difference, whether it's someone in your community, a friend, or even you. And this week, we are highlighting a wonderful woman. Her name is Sheila Reigns, and she has this wonderful organization called Beauty to the Streets. And Beauty to the Streets is her nonprofit organization that she provides food, hygienic services, and unconditional support to people without a home. And it's for the Los Angeles area. She's extended it to San Diego, and now she's even in Las Vegas. And what she does is so phenomenal. She's a makeup artist, and she gives free haircuts to the homeless. She goes on Skid Row. She goes all over. But what she started doing was putting this camera that hangs in her truck, and she started running TikTok lives and Instagram lives, and you can actually see the people that she has to service, and some, are mentally challenged, some are just homeless, but the kindness that Sheila Reigns shows to the people is always there. And she'll give them, a meal. She gives them a snack. She provides socks. That's something that homeless people really, really need, is like, socks. And she hopes that she's changing the narrative of homelessness. And she uses it, like I said, as a fundraising. She's been doing this since 2017. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Sheila Reigns. And if you could follow her on Instagram or on TikTok, it's Beauty, 2, the Streets. And she's just a phenomenal woman. She keeps doing it. And, we need to highlight more people like Miss Shirley. So I think it's just phenomenal.
I love that. And again, not everyone has to be famous to be a hero. And I think, we so much talk about in our industry right now that it's a difficult time after the strike and people aren't working. But look at Shirley, like she's in our industry and is taking whatever extra time she has to help people. And I think that's amazing. We could take a lesson from her.
She basically does this every day.
I love that.
It's literally like every day that she's been taking time out. And it's wonderful people like her that lets us know that there are just some cool people out there.
Absolutely.
So that is our Grown Ass Woman of the Week, Sheila Reigns, from Beauty to the Street. And with that said, we've got another great episode. Like I promised everyone today, we're going to get into all sorts of stuff. We'll be talking about the fire inside and the drama outside. Oh, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Right.
Also, we have a Supreme Broadway debut. And we have the problem with baby boomer grandparents. There's an interesting problem that I think, you all want to hear about. And in today's grown ass topic, we're going to be joined by our friend, Miss Sheila E, as we talk about being a woman in a male dominated field. We'll get into all of that and more. This is Grown Ass Women Talking. Are you a grown ass woman with something to say? What are you unapologetic about? What's got you fired up?
Are you thrilled the kids are back in school? Or are you mad at your friends for asking you out after 9 p.m.? Did you get stood up on your third Tinder date this week? Whatever it is, let it all out.
Visit our website at gawtpod.com and leave us a voice message. That's gawtpod.com, or drop us a voice note at gawtpod@gmail.com. We might just play your message on our next episode.
So don't hold back. This is your space to talk about it.
We're back with more GAWT. Now's the time for Grown Ass Women News. Each week, I'll get Erica's take on the week's entertainment news, current events, and news about grown ass women. First up, there are a lot of movies coming out, especially for the holidays and for Christmas. And I've been going to a lot of premieres.
I know,
interesting.
you're very busy these days. I see on your Instagrams.
Well, it was one movie that I went to. It's called The Fire Inside. It's the story of Clarissa Shields, and it's due out on Christmas Day. It stars Ryan Destiny as Shields and is directed by the Oscar-nominated cinematographer Rachel Morrison. I was really happy to see that. And it was also written by the Oscar-winning director Barry Jenkins, and it also stars Brian Tyree Henry. And it's about Shields, Clarissa Shields, the boxer, who at 17 is the youngest boxer at the United States Olympic trials in 2012. She won gold medals for both 2012 and the 2016 Olympics. She's also the first American woman to win a gold medal in boxing at the Games. And she went pro in 2016. And it's just a wonderful story, a very well-written story. I think Barry Jenkins did a great job. The acting is phenomenal. Ryan Destiny is just this wonderful young actress. And you know what? I was really happy at the premiere to see so much support for this film. You had Michael B. Jordan there. You had a slew of people. Jamel Hill was there.
Oh, girl.
I got to say hi to her.
Oh, cool.
I got to actually meet Clarissa Shields, and she's just a phenomenal person. And with all of this wonderfulness coming on, you know, there's some drama happening.
Uh-oh, what went on?
There seems to be some fallout between Papoose and Remy Ma, which dates back to 2023, when Papoose discovered that Remy was cheating with him on a battle rapper called Easy the Block Captain. He's
What the hell?
The kids know.
Oh, boy.
Okay. But Papoose allegedly assaulted this battle rapper, we'll just call him Easy, during a battle rap event that same year, but never spoke publicly about the fight or his and Remy's deteriorating relationship. Now, Remy, of course, went to jail for some time. Pap held her down. They were on the reel many times. They ended up having a wonderful baby that they called the Golden Child, and she's just a beautiful little girl, and it's just a wonderful love story. And now all of a sudden, this is all changing. All of that changed when Remy Ma made a scathing social media post last week revealing that Papoose had a romance with Clarissa Shields, the
I was
boxer.
gonna say, what does it have to do with the movie? But now,
Yeah, I was gonna get to it. Okay,
I mean, you took a minute.
Now, she's accusing the rapper of being a serial cheater and being involved with multiple women. So Papoose responded by confirming that he knocked out Easy the Block Captain, deeming Remy as a narcissist. And, you know, for a long time, Remy and Papoose, we knew something was going on because you know how they stopped posting each other,
Right,
and you just see right, and you just see the baby with one of them or whatever. So now this has happened, supposedly because Remy believes that Papoose and Clarissa are now dating. And so the bad blood keeps boiling over because Pap said he knocked out her, which is Remy's proposed boo, the Easy dude. And now it's a mess. And the thing is Clarissa actually sent out a tweet saying, hey, my movie is about to come out. My people are going crazy because this isn't good publicity.
Right, don't fuck up my shit right now. Come on now.
So what do you think about all of this? This is like drama.
I mean, listen, you and I talked about these women, which I love, you know, Remy, I love, you know, Cardi B, but all of them in love with these bad boys. Like, what do they expect? You know what I mean? It's like now Cardi B and Offset are in the club together again. You know, it's like, they love the drama. They love that kind of like, somebody's going to shoot somebody for me. Someone's going to beat somebody up for me. Someone's going to, you know, come back and get me in the club because even though they cheated cheated on me. I got 5 of their babies. I mean, like that's some rap shit. That is some rap shit. I am sorry. I'm not in it. You met Corona Bay. He's not a rapper, so I don't know about
Thank
that.
goodness.
Thank
It's
goodness.
like goodness.
He sings like Bob Dylan songs.
I know. He's a little guitar. He's going. I checked him out on his Instagram and I saw him. So it's like, yeah. Don't date rappers. I think the whole moral of this story is don't date rappers.
You go straight up acoustic. You got to go acoustic.
But you know what? At least it's giving her some type of publicity. I think, you know,
100%.
People didn't know, you know, so.
Bad publicity is good publicity. Yeah.
Exactly. I say watch her movie. It comes out Christmas, The Fire Inside. Another movie that I went to the premiere of was the Mufasa movie, which is the Disney movie. Is the story of Mufasa, which is the father of Simba.
I love it.
And this was another movie by Barry Jenkins.
Barry doing it.
Can I say I love Barry Jenkins? Have I said that a number of times on this?
Him and Coleman Domingo are your two favorites. You love him. You love Coleman Domingo. You love Michael B. Jordan.
They're so cool. He is just a cool and I don't think I've said this before, but Barry Jenkins, what I really love about him is that he really loves the whole process of movie making. He's the Oscar-winning director of Moonlighting.
And
Moonlight.
Yeah.
And he actually developed a lighting system that is great for people of color. Because, you know, a lot of people don't realize how lighting is so important. And the reason why and you remember, you as a writer, you know, back in the day, like I'm talking about like in the 80s, they wouldn't put dark-skinned people on sitcoms because of the lighting.
Right, absolutely.
Because it was if there was a majority of white people, then you have like that sixth or seventh seed, which would be the black person or the person
friend,
of color.
Neighbor, yeah.
It was hard to like because you got all these white faces,
absolutely.
And then you got that dark one down there, and it's like it was always like an issue. But because of technology and you know, I'm not making this up, because remember when Oprah Winfrey had her talk show?
I was going to say Oprah made that happen.
She had special lighting.
Absolutely.
That was very, very expensive. We could never get it on the reel. That's why the reel,
we can't get it on this show for sure.
Oh.
Can I get some lighting, Siege?
I mean, it's like, you know, all you need is a gold filter and you're good. But she was using all types of filters, things like that. So anyway, I say all of that to say that Barry Jenkins developed this really great lighting system, him and his team of people. And I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, when you see his film, you see this clarity, this clearness. It's very artsy.
I first came into contact with him. I spoke at the Savannah Film Festival when Moonlight was. I'm very established. But I saw the movie, and it was so beautiful. Like the way that they shot that movie, to your point, was so gorgeous. And I remember, this was his first movie, so no one knew who he was. I was in a screening of it, and I remember I was sitting next to this one woman who's on the panel with me, and she's like, when it finished, she didn't know what to say. She's kind of like, well, I don't know if I like this movie or if I don't like this movie. She was white, but not to say that that's it. But I was like, what are you talking about? This is the most beautiful movie I've ever seen. I mean, and again, I know it was a different kind of vibe, but it was so beautiful, like visually. Mm-hmm. And even because the book, I love the play that it came from in the title of the play, or I think that it was a play, was in the moonlight, colored men look blue. I think that was and so I just thought that was such a beautiful title, and that's exactly how it was shot. Like those moonlight scenes when they're in the water and the beautiful boys look blue, you know, and so it was so poetic to me. So I'm a huge fan of his, and I'm so happy to see him, you know, just continuing to make magic.
He will. And this is another movie, this Mufasa movie, which is a Disney movie. And it stars Aaron Pierce, is voiced by him. And it's the debut for Blue Ivy.
I know.
She plays Kiara. and it was just a wonderful Disney movie. It's just another part of The Lion King, and it answers a lot of questions about Scar and all that kind of stuff. But of course, there's always going to be drama.
More drama behind the scenes. Hit us.
Before this premiere, there was a accusation by a young woman concerning Jay-Z, who is the father of Blue Ivy. And this accuser went through this attorney named Busby, and they filed some type of civil suit. And they're trying to say that Jay-Z was one of the people that raped her, along with P. Diddy, and there was a celebrity female with them. This caused a mess. Jay-Z responded the night before with a letter from his attorney, and basically he's fighting these charges. He's saying that it has never been done. He says that he was just upset because these claims are preposterous. And what I like about what is happening is that Jay-Z never blamed the accuser. There was an interview that the accuser did, we call her Jane Doe, with NBC. During that interview, there are a lot of inconsistencies in her story. She even admitted that, yeah, I have inconsistencies. But the thing is that what Jay-Z and his lawyer is saying is that Busby is they're accusing Busby of trying to just shake down celebrities. And supposedly there have been letters sent to other celebrities, trying to, I guess, have a meeting, or they're either trying to get money and things like that. Jay-Z is the one who is actually saying, I'm going to fight, that. And with all that said, we always want to believe women, and we want to wait until the courts decide. What I like is that he's saying, we're going to go to court. I'm going to show you that you're wrong. And, we're going to clear this all up.
Yeah, listen, I think both things can be true, right? I mean, like if we're saying he's being accused by this woman, we don't know that she's not right. I mean, he could be 100% guilty. We just don't know that, and you're right, he deserves his day in court. But I think this is one of the things that is very difficult for women who have been sexually abused, because you're going up against someone with that kind of power. You don't think you're going to be heard, and you do need an advocate. And again, I agree. This guy the lawyer is not coming off in the best light, because he looks like an ambulance chaser, right? Mm-hmm. But this Jay-Z being a part of this, if defendant number two, it's been a conversation that everyone's been having. Everyone's heard that there's like a male celebrity and female celebrity who were there with Diddy in that whole thing that he was charged with. And so everyone assumed it was Jay-Z. So it's, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. But I would not accuse him. I wasn't there. I'm not saying he's guilty. And you're right. Once someone accuses you of rape or murder or whatever, it's like you can't unring that bell. And so that's going to be something that's going to follow him. So he's going to have to aggressively defend himself, which he's doing. But at the same time, you've got to feel for this woman who, at 13, quite frankly, I know the inconsistencies seem, dubious. But do you remember at 13 what you were doing? And if she was drugged, you're going to have fuzzy memories. I'm just saying, it doesn't make him not guilty just because at 13 she doesn't remember, after being drugged, what lies she told to her parents.
Right. Well, the thing is that I'm going to ask your opinion of this. This came out the night before the premiere. Do you think he should have went to the premiere?
Listen, I think to your point, he's doubling down on being innocent. And I think he wants to hide in plain sight and not, I think he thinks if he didn't show up, it'd make him look guilty. You can either look at it two ways. It's, I'm not guilty, so I'm going to show people that I'm not afraid to show up for my daughter or walk the streets. Or it could also be like, I'm above the law, And so no one's going to get me anyway. And that's what I think came off with Puffy. And that's why they got his ass while he's walking through a hotel.
With that said, quickly, there's some other Christmas movies that are coming out, a complete unknown. Timothy Chalamet is playing Bob Dylan. Also, Nicole Kidman is coming out as Baby Girl.
Ooh, I can't wait to
and
see
these
that.
are all like potential Golden Globe and it's award season. So it's going to be an interesting season. So it's going to be a bunch of holiday movies if you're interested.
Well, first of all, I've got all of them now from my, I get my screeners from being in the Guild. And the Academy, and so I'm excited because I would not see them otherwise, you know.
Well, that's for your holiday, but also I want to give it a shout out to Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. She made a one night only Broadway debut in the play Anne Juliet. And it fulfilled a lifelong dream of hers. She had such a good time. She was so cute.
She's so cute. She's like itty bitty. She's tiny.
She's a little something, you know. And I'm glad she did that. I mean, while other people are hanging out, other justices are hanging out with billionaires, she's just, you know, doing theater. So
cute.
I just think that that's great.
I love that she was like probably a theater nerd. You know what I mean? Like she's like, oh, I'm going to go study my books, but then I got to go to theater class. And she probably always wanted to do that. It's so cute.
I love it. Also, we want to talk about something a little serious. There was this article that says that women in Congress are more likely to be victims of deep fake pornographic items than their male counterparts, according to a national organization that combats disinformation online. They're called deep fakes and also known as AI-generated, non-consensual, intimate imagery. The images are also called deep fake pornography, and they target mostly women. And so a lot of our congressional people, and if you notice during the campaign, they were doing this with Kamala as well. So there definitely needs to be some type of legislation to combat this. And this is what a part of what we were striking about the 100%, actors was this new AI technology. Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's such a slippery slope. And I know that, you know, there's still legislation going on right now, but I think, you know, you have to be able to own your own likeness. You do. And anytime someone infringes, it's intellectual property, right? So if someone was going to go and take you and take your jokes and just, you know, put it on the internet and maybe change the punchlines or make it racist or whatever, like that's got to be against the law, because that's right. That's putting, like, that's defaming you, right? And you have to be accountable for stuff that you have to verify that you didn't say something. It becomes a whole thing. So yeah, I mean, there has to be legislation, and I don't understand why it's taking so long.
Yeah, I don't know why either. It's just, you know, everybody's like scary. That's just like this whole TikTok thing. They're talking about banning TikTok, and it's like, it takes so long. I don't know. It's like we could do everything else quick. When they want to get my money, they take it quick.
They sure do.
Pass these policies.
I mean, it's like the drones, right? Like those drones over New Jersey. Like, why don't we, like, let's get those drones? Like, why are we talking about whether the drones are like okay or not? Like, let's make something happen. But that's the problem right now with, I think, Washington in general. I think, like, you have to have 15 million votes to have something done. It's like no one can do anything unless you have it's bureaucracy, it's red tape, it's all the stuff we talked about before, and it's just
definitely so.
It's
we'll keep looking at that. Also, there's this new phenomenon, Erica, of boomer grandparents that are refusing to be directly involved with their children and grandchildren. Honey, they like, you can keep them babies. You can keep them. All on TikTok, all on X. There are all types of tweets and there are all kinds of posts complaining. And I was reading one. It was her name was Kira. She says, I think about writing a book about the devastating phenomenon of baby boomer grandparents refusing to be directly involved with their children and grandchildren. I've heard so many sad stories from Gen X parents like me recently. And so she ended up getting a response by one lady. She says, you know, I'm the mother of two beautiful daughters, 26 and 26-year-old twins, and my husband and I have been all in 24/7 their entire lives. We set them up for success with love and really being present. Both have advanced degrees and steady boyfriends. That being said, I will not be a nanny for their children. I will love them and spoil them, but I will not be an every week plan. It's my time now to travel and enjoy my husband. We've never asked our parents for anything. Them offering a date night was the cherry on top. Otherwise, she saved and hired a babysitter. Call me selfish. What do you think?
I love a glamma. That's what I call it, a glamma, because, and it's funny because, you know, when Wendy Brickell was on our show and she is on Papa's House, and that's her character. Like, she plays Damon's ex-wife, and she comes in and the kids run to her and she's like, "Oh no, did you wash your hands? Like, go over there." You know? And I think it's true. I mean, listen, especially like my mom, I think my mom has no grandchildren because my brother and I are, you know, have horrible relationships, but I think deep down she's kind of like, thank God, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't have to deal with our kids. I mean, she's happy to deal with our dogs, and that's about it. But I think,
at some point you should help your children. I mean, I
think they've helped. I think to that woman's point, like she's helped her kids. Now she's not going to help her kids. Like, how many kids does she have to be responsible for, right? I mean, I put you through college. I'm just saying, I'm just taking the devil's advocate of it all. Like, I get it. If you like put your kids through college, they probably lived in your house for like till they're in their 20s. You paid for their weddings. I mean, all the stuff that you've done. And finally, like, when is it about me? Like, I get that. It's like, now, like, you're good. It's your turn to take care of your kids. I'll be in Tahiti.
Like, but you're supposed to help the babies. Who gonna help with all this?
Well, it's so funny because I have, there's a whole nother layer of Erica, but I have an ex who had a daughter. So I was kind of like a stepmom for a while. So she's coming, because the ex is gone, but she and I still have a relationship. She's 9. And she's very close to my parents too. So she's coming to stay with me over the holidays. And I'm like, Mom, you know, her name, I'm not going to put her name out here, but she's coming. And my mom's, well, have fun. Like, you don't want to hang out? She's like, nope. She's like, that's on you. Have fun. Like, I'll see you when she's gone. But it's that kind of like, I don't know. I think it's kind of like, you know what, it's your turn to be a mom. I've done that. And I'll come say hi, but I'm not going to entertain. I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to, I don't want to do all things I had to do for you. And it's a thing for sure.
Well, you know what? See, I don't understand. I thought that it was okay to help your kids. And I get, you don't maybe want to babysit them every day, or help them or whatever. I just think it's just like, I don't know.
I think they're tired. Like, my mom is tired. I think she's just like, all she could do is just criticize me. So that's a full-time job for her. After that, she's got no more energy left.
Wow. Okay. Well, all you grandmas, they not your regular grandmas anymore.
Grandmas. They're grandmas.
These are not even grandmas. These are just, I mean,
call them grandmas.
You got the cost of living going up. You got all this, you got to help with these babies.
Well,
okay?
You're a better person than most people. You're very altruistic. Most people
But that's why I didn't have children.
See, exactly.
See, this is, for a number of reasons, is the reason why I didn't want to have children, but this is one of them, because they expect you to help. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, they want to stay alive. You gotta feed them and make sure they stay alive.
Okay, well, moving on. Blast from the past is the bubble skirt has made a comeback.
What?
And there's a lot of opinions about the bubble skirt.
I remember the bubble skirt.
You remember the bubble skirt? Are you
Yeah.
partaking? Are you gonna dust off yours from the 1980s?
It's probably in my parents' garage. Speaking of, like, my parents keeping my shit. I love a bubble skirt.
Well, the problem is, I think some people feel like some are too short. Like, they're really like, they're not a bubble.
Well, can I tell you what the real problem with the bubble skirt coming back now? Like, back in the 80s, and me, if you could see my lower torso, like, I don't have an ass. Like, people who have, if you have too much ass, you can't wear a bubble skirt. Now everybody has a big ass now. So, like, The bubble skirt does not work in 2024 with these big asses.
Oh, those kids are wearing them though. They
Mm.
don't even look like a skirt. I don't know what it look like,
It
underwear
looks like
that's
a
kind of
diaper.
puffy.
Like a diaper.
Yeah,
like a
it look like a
like a
diaper.
full diaper.
I can't wear no bubble skirt. I got enough
I think
bubble.
you look cute in a bubble skirt.
No, I am not 13.
First of all, can I just tell everybody how cute you were at your show? You're so cute, and you're so into Christmas. And she had her little reindeer ears. I mean, Lonnie Love is feeling Christmas. She has the spirit.
No, I just wanted to give people a reason to have some type of Christmas spirit, holiday
It's so
spirit.
sweet.
And so I've always wanted to do that. We would do it all the time on the reel. When it was the holidays, we decorate the set, we dress up, for until leading up until that day. And so now that I'm not on the show, I said, well, I can do my live shows that way. And I think people really appreciate it. And it's just, you never know who's going through something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're entertainers. We're supposed to help people escape. We're supposed to lift their spirits. And so, especially around the holiday time, it get real iffy. So
See, everyone, Lonnie has a heart. She's like the big marshmallow.
anyway, without a bubble skirt on.
That's what I'm getting you for Christmas, a bubble skirt.
Oh, do not do that. We're going to take a break, everybody. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Sheila E about being in a male-dominated field.
I bet she has a bubble skirt.
This is grown-ass women talking.
I'm Sheila E, and this is Grown Ass Women Talking.
Today's guest is the legendary queen of percussion. Her solo career skyrocketed with hits like The Glamorous Life and A Love Bazaar, cementing her status as a revered drummer, multi-instrumentalist, and vocalist. And she has worked alongside such music legends like Prince and George Duke, Herbie Hancock, just to name a few. And beyond the stage, Sheila has excelled as a producer, actress, and author, chronicling her journey in her autobiography, The Beat of My Own Drum, while passionately advocating for music education through her philanthropic work. In July 2023, she made history as the first female percussionist to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And this year, her debut salsa album, Bailar, featuring Gloria Estefan, Ruben Blades, and many more, earned 2 Grammy nominations, including Best Tropical Latin Album and Best Global Music Performance. She is a true trailblazer, a music icon, and she continues to inspire the world with her unmatched talent and passion. Please welcome my sister, Sheila E.
I mean, come on now. Legend. Thank you for gracing us. Oh my goodness.
Oh, thank
How
you. I
you been? I
appreciate it.
mean, congratulations on the 2
Thank you.
Grammy nominations. Was that like a surprise? Tell me what you were feeling.
Oh my God, I was shocked. I mean, I was hoping and then forgot about it. You're doing your thing, and then that album took so much work, and it was probably I believe one of my best works yet, and it just took a lot. It was 2 years in the making and 5 years to completion, like really, on my bucket list of wanting to do it, and I finally had the time to do it and make it right, and it just unbelievable. The people that said yes, that are on this record, that just gave 150%, and the record would not be what it is without everyone and their contribution. So that night when they said, oh, that we're going to announce the Grammys that Friday, I think, or something, I thought, well, I'll set my clock and I'll get up early and I'll listen to it on television. And I thought, no, I've never done that. I'm not going to do it. And I haven't been nominated since like the 80s. This is like only my second time. So it's crazy. So I went to bed, and then I was up in the middle of the night just thinking and tossing and turning. I was like, I got to go to sleep. And then I finally woke up. It was 9:30. I turned on my phone and I was like, oh no, somebody died, because I had so many messages. My phone ding, 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 ding. So I'm like, oh, we lost another person. So I had no idea what was going on. First thing I think of is Miles and Pop. So I'm going,
Oh
are
my
they
God.
okay? Yeah. So I look, and then I see one person says, congratulations. I still didn't get it. And then I started reading. I'm like, Oh my God. I had no idea. I'm so happy. I'm
See,
so
this is
grateful.
a reward for being a grown ass woman. You took you a little, took you a minute to get here, but here you are, right, with the best album that you could have ever made,
But you
right?
know what? You know what, Erica? She's always been there.
That's
She's
true. That's
always
true.
been in her music. And what I love about this album is that you had some innovative music elements. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so as you know, Pop's Latin jazz artist. So I grew up as a Latin jazz artist, and then when I became Sheila E, I signed as an R&B artist and then crossed over to pop. Salsa music is completely different than Latin jazz music. And what I wanted to do was pay homage to three people or artists that um really like influenced me in listening to music when I was younger, especially because Pops brought this music into the house, and it was Celia Cruz. It was the Fania All Stars was a mixture of all the best, amazing Latin artists in the world together. Like that was the Fania All Stars. They played everything, and then of course my godfather Tito Puente. So to do those three songs, like I needed to do something different, and the element that I brought to the original was me being me from the Bay Area and bringing that a little bit of funk in there. And they're like, I told my guy who Tony Sukar, who produced this with me, and I said I want to do Bemba Colorado, and he goes, really? Okay. I said, but I want to do it like this, and I want to play like a fast conga rumba rhythm in the front, reminding people that I still play. And then during the middle of the song in the halftime, how Celia used to do that, I want to play drums, some funk behind it, and take a drum solo. He's like, whoa, that would be wicked. I'm like, yeah. So just adding those different elements, like 61% of the record is in Spanish, and then the rest is me singing mostly English because I don't sing in Spanish very well. But I did my best, and then adding even some rap to it. So it's its own little thing.
Like it's a nice song. Like if you want to clean up, listen to it. Just put it on and let it roll. That's how I listened to the whole album. So
Yes.
it was just
Yeah.
great. And I think this is a perfect topic for you to be a part of because we're going to get straight into it. Today's grown ass topic: the music industry, much like Hollywood, has long been considered a boys' club. For women, it often takes more than just talent. It takes resilience, determination, and the ability to carve out a unique space to truly stand out. But music also holds immense power, the power to inspire, heal, and connect. And that power becomes even more impactful with a feminine touch. And this week, we are thrilled to talk to Sheila about navigating a male dominated industry and the transformative power of music. So, all three of us here are in male dominated industries, but Sheila, let's we're asking you to share your journey of breaking the barriers, especially in music, and how you thrive and shine.
Well, I mean, I think it comes from moms and pops because me growing up in the household of music, pops practice to vinyl every single day, and then there were jam sessions with just percussion and maybe singers, and then once in a while there was an entire band in the living room. So I got to be around like musicians in at 5 years old, like people coming over and hanging out. So being around music like that, um, I didn't. Pops and moms never said to me ever that because I was a young girl, it's like you can't, don't touch those drums. You're not supposed to. I've never heard them say that ever. And only until later on, when then I became a professional musician at 15, I was going out playing with other people and meeting people, and everyone was looking at me crazy, like, this, and telling me, well, what are you doing here? Like this one guy was going into the studio, and I walked in for the session, and he's the drummer, and he turned around and he goes, "Oh, excuse me, can you give me a cup of coffee?" And I said, "Uh, well, I'm not the receptionist or whatever. I mean, I'll get you some coffee, but I'm the percussion player." He goes, "Wait, what?" And he's, and the story then becomes, well, you're probably just here because you know so and so, and yeah, okay, well, we'll see what happens, that kind of thing. So I didn't know that girls weren't supposed to play because I wasn't brought up in that environment of no, it was like, of course, everyone plays. Let's all play. My mom plays a little bit. Of course, my brothers do. and the family would come around. But being born in the Bay, the thing about being so eclectic, the city itself is people would come to the parks and go to like Berkeley College out in the front, and we would just call each other and say, "Hey, we're going to go meet in at the Mission District at the park in San Francisco or in Oakland or what," and we would all bring our percussion instruments and play. So there were always kind of women around playing as well. But I mean, really, to be able to do this in an environment of just men was very interesting, and kind of always being the only woman there, especially the musician part, not singers, but playing an instrument was different. And uh, it was rough at times. Absolutely.
Well, like Lonnie says, I mean, you've always, I mean, listen, you're a beast. You're Sheila E. We like, bow down. But do you think that you, at that time, ever succumbed to the scrutiny of you being a woman, and did it close doors for you? And then now going forward, this new album, are you empowered by being a grown ass woman to do the exact kind of music you want to do? Like, were you put in a lane back then, and now you're able to do exactly what you want to do?
Um, it's really crazy, but I've always been in my own lane.
Mm.
Just got to say that's just what it's been. If I'm in a situation and I'm a part of a group, like say Marvin Gaye, his
Mm.
last tour, 1982, it didn't even matter. This man is, I'm looking at him like, oh my God, it's Marvin Gaye, and playing like the song that I grew up listening to and being able to play congas on what's going on, like amazing. And then he says during rehearsal, well, Sheila, when we go on stage, I want you to just take over the stage. And I just need to go change clothes. You got it. Like there's
Wow.
23 people in the band. He asked me, grown ass woman, me, just
Wow,
let
that's
go over.
amazing. That's
Yeah, and I'm
amazing.
like, oh, so I always got pushed into being the leader or that kind of lane, like always being pushed to do. Well, Sheila, you start it, or Sheila, you do it, or Sheila knows, Sheila will do it. I'm like, even if I didn't, I would say, of course, let's do this. I don't know.
What do you think that came from?
From moms.
Moms?
From
Yeah.
moms, yeah. My mom is that's moms all the way. If she doesn't, you ask her, Juanita, can you do this? Moms, can you do this? No, but I'm gonna do it and I'll beat you. Like she has to
Mm.
beat everybody at everything all the time, and very competitive, which is where I got that from. So it's always like, if mom's always said, you can do whatever you want to do. And watching her, the example is her and her sisters. They had a lot of brothers, and they're all in sports. They were all athletes. And my mom and her sisters said, we're starting an all girls team playing baseball. So they started their own team. They did that stuff because they wanted to do what the boys were doing. So that tomboy part of me is from moms, just like, I'm going to do it. I don't care. I'll beat all of you guys. It's just,
Yeah, so
that's
you're
moms.
already comfortable in the boys' world, right? So you kind of didn't feel,
Absolutely.
yeah. So you can move through that world now with ease because you had to compete with your brothers and compete with the boys back in the day. Are
And
you?
that was the thing. It wasn't like I wanted to compete. It's
Mm.
just I just stood in my own lane, and then they brought how, do you know how to play this? Well, let's do battle of the bands, and let's battle drums. I'm like, but why? I don't. Why do we have to battle? Like, I mean, we could do it, but you're gonna get your feelings hurt. Like,
Right.
what?
I'm gonna beat
Why?
you.
Why you want? Why are you gonna come to me like that?
But Sheila, I think that because you had the talent,
Mm-hmm.
and I find that that really helps when you're dealing with a male dominated industry. You, first of all, you should know whatever that industry is. So you had the talent, you had the instrumentation, you were a musician, but there had to be times when somebody would come and maybe try to test you, and you got to, bring it to them. What advice do you give to women that maybe get into a situation where they are tested?
Yeah, and that the very first time when things like that were happening, the men would say very nasty things to me, like in
Mm.
the room, and you just go, "Well, I just came to play. Like, why are you treating me like this?" Well, Pops always told me to walk into the situation and make sure that if there's music that you have to learn, just be prepared. The preparation and the
Yeah.
work that you put in before you walk into a room is going to make you walk in with confidence. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have a good time because I know what I need to do. So I'm walking in like, hey, everybody. And then you got the other guys going, I didn't listen to it. I was out all night drinking. I'm hungover. It was always something. And I would walk in prepared and ready to go, always on time, and making sure that I knew that I was comfortable in the situation. Um, I think when that's a hard part about it. It's like you don't want to be that girl. You just have to stand up for yourself and not saying you better respect me, not by saying it like that. You shouldn't have to. You should stand in your own who you are as a person and walk in that I love myself, I respect myself, and I expect you to do the same. So, don't come for me in that kind of way, or you might have to say to someone, you talking to the wrong person.
But how do you deal with that though, that frustration? 'Cause I know like we've talked about this with other women who are like Carrie Champion, who was on, who's a sports reporter, and we talk about we're playing chess and the guys are playing checkers. We're held to a higher standard oftentimes because you said like these guys can come in after partying all night and coast through, but you've got to be on your game. Like how do you handle the frustration of that? Because sometimes they will get picked over you because they are cronies with someone or whatever. I mean, how do you reconcile that?
Well, I mean, there's politics and everything. So,
Exactly.
you got your clicks with everybody, and you just got to, after a while, I realized that even though I had the talent and I was confident in my talent, I would have to go and show up at different events and things and remind people because, hey, you haven't seen me, but I'm still here or I'm new at this. And, eye contact, talking to people, here's my contact information. Hey, you going out on a tour, you need a percussion player, whatever. It's just communication with people. And it's hard to do that in these times now because
Hmm.
people don't like to go out and talk. Everyone's on their phone. And it's like my experience and how I maintained through all that was the experience and being able to be hands on. Pops taking me to the events, moms and pops taking me. I'm hanging out at the clubs watching people play. I'm going to try to sit in with every single person. If there was a show every night, I was somewhere trying to get in to go and get on that stage. And even if
Wow.
they told me no, I would go to the other side of the stage until somebody said yes. And at the end of the night, believe you me, I was on that stage because I knew that I had the talent, but people just needed to know me. That's
Hmm.
all.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
needed to know. They didn't know.
And I want to ask about the fact that you were engaged to Prince, and
That
some
went okay.
no, because I'm gonna bring it back around. It's about the fact that sometimes when we deal in male dominated industries, we do fall in love, we do date. How do you handle that without it being an issue with you still remaining who you are?
That is a big one. That is so that is so hard because it's like working with your spouse and you're working together, you're with each other 24/7, which we were constantly. And it's a beautiful thing at the time and you're doing things and then, something gets sideways and you just go, "Do I still want to do this?" And then you're not seeing eye to eye and then he's going to a different direction and I'm like, I don't want to be in that direction. I want to do something else. And and it's hard to maintain. It really is challenging. Always at the beginning it's like, the honeymoon stage and everything's good and we're woo, can't nobody tell us nothing.
Right. Right. You
And
can take
and
on the
we're in our
world.
we're in our own
Hmm.
world,
Yeah.
we're creating our own stuff and it's just amazing. And then, when it's not, it's not. And then it's hard to walk away because at one time, I think it was during the either beginning of no the beginning of Love Sexy maybe or something. I knew then that I was getting ready to leave. I was like
Mm.
probably maybe at the end of this, I don't know. So I just had to wait and see, and then more so it's just like, yeah, no, it's time to leave and I need to do my own thing for a little bit, and just get away. But how do you just like you're with someone and you try to get away, you got to cut it all off. And I that's when I felt like, oh my God, even if we weren't married, that was a marriage that it was like getting a divorce. It was
Of course.
so hard. It was so hard emotionally because then you're still listening to that music. You were part of writing that
Hmm.
music. You're hearing it. It's all over the place. And every time you're reminded of what was,
But you wouldn't change it though.
not for a minute.
But how do you navigate that? I mean, because it's one thing to have a breakup in like a normal life, right? But you're melding career with this, wonderful collaboration. So were you afraid that going forward after this breakup would impact your career? Because I know for me, that's one reason I don't date other writers. Like, I don't want to be connected to someone who, number one, they can point a finger at me and say, oh, well, she got this job because she's with this person. Like, that's always something that I've tried in the back of my head. And I think, Loni, that might be something with you. Like, do you date comedians? I mean, it's something you have to navigate as a woman in our world, that you don't want to be diminished because you're dating someone. And that's such an
I don't
easy
think
thing.
you should. I don't know. I think that you should not, when it comes to love, hold off on it.
Well, you're a
If it just
romantic.
happens to if it happens, it happens. I don't think
Right.
you should stop it. I just think you have to be careful. And I think that's why I was asking Sheila about, was there something that you set up, or was there something that you did? It's like to kind of like make sure that you stay true to who you are. Because a lot of times we can take on this other person and we forget about ourselves, and then we lose
Absolutely.
ourselves.
Absolutely. And and that was part of it. That's what I'm saying. Things started changing and you just go, I know that I need to do my own thing. And that is that part. It's like, okay, you love me for who I was, and now I can't go that direction. Like it doesn't work. Like we're not connected anymore. And it's funny because I'm around mostly musicians,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always like, my first like love was Carlos Santana, and I
Oh,
was
yeah,
Oh,
he's
in
I
amazing.
love
love.
Carlos.
And it's a thing about men and guitars. I don't
Who
know.
doesn't?
And so
A man and guitar. Yes, Sheila E.
And I also bring it up because on the Netflix documentary, which we've talked about previously, Sheila, The Greatest Night in Pop, you were featured on that. And it's the
Mhm,
story about how Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson put together We Are the World.
mhm.
And it was so interesting because I'm always happy to see Sheila and give her expertise. But I don't know if you want to elaborate a little bit, but to not give it away. But there were things in that documentary I was so proud of her
Oh my God, of
for.
course.
I was really, really proud of you and how you stood up for yourself. How hard was that at that moment, back in that time, when you're in
Yeah.
the room with all these people and something hits you like, wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
nah, this ain't right.
Right. It was like someone threw a brick at my head and went, wait a minute, I didn't expect that, I didn't go into that knowing or, thinking about, well, maybe I'm here because it wasn't even that. I was part of the family, Quincy, Lionel, everybody. So I walked in, that's what it was. And then it just kept going on. And then they'd say, well, hey, just see if Prince is coming, and I'd call him. I'd make the call uh, and I'd talk to him. He'd ask me, how's it going? It was like, I think you should be here. You should come. He goes, really? And I was like, yeah, it's really cool. I mean, you and maybe one other person is not here. I think it was Madonna, that I could think of. Um, and he goes, okay, I'll call you, call me back. Then I would call him back again, and he said, well, ask him, I play guitar. So I had Quincy, Prince wants to know, can he play guitar? And that went on for a few phone calls. And then now you're in the midst of creating this moment and why you're really there. And then it got later and later. And I had been up for days. I was already deprived of 2 or 3 days of no sleep because we were out on tour. And then I started realizing, then I saw how Lionel kept saying, oh, no, no, you're good. He just, how he does. And next thing you know, everyone's getting their names on the floor. And then my heart just
Yeah,
dropped.
of
And
course.
I went, no, they did not just do this. And I just went, wow, okay. Well, I'm gonna leave now. I had to just go and I had to just move on with the whole thing.
Well, it's
Just
soul crushing, and that's why I asked you, like, how do you navigate that breakup? How do you navigate dating someone in that world?
yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, there's different dynamics in how you know, you choose to respond to those kinds of things that are said, these kinds of accusations and just ignorance, and just so they can say something. I mean, I'm not going to say there was this one drummer who was very famous at the time, and I was out with a very famous person, and we were all in the band together, and we were in New Orleans, and we had to get in the car. It was not a lot of room, so I halfway sat on half of his lap, but not really, just trying to be respectful, me trying to be respectful. And then he grabbed me, and to get me closer and tried to feel on me. I turned around and I slapped him like I hit those drums. Now, just
Good for
that,
you.
I turned around and
Like he was a
slapped him in
bongo.
his, I slapped him so hard. Oh my God. Because, like, how dare you? Like, that's not even,
Yes.
you know, because I'm the only woman in the band and everyone's taking bets who's going to sleep with Sheila first. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. So I turned around, I slapped him, and he was never the same. I mean, but he was good. Like, he
Yeah, it
respected
was.
me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was
Okay.
it. Like, don't mess with Sheila.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
love
I
it.
mean, why? You know, some of that, not in the early days, but when I became Sheila E, I was the one that thought about, here's how I want to look, and let me do this, and I'm just going to be half naked because can't nobody tell me nothing. Now, I talked about how us in trying to get respect, I'm talented, but I chose to go out on stage for the whole Purple Rain tour naked, just butt naked, butt naked. So it's
But
like,
why
how
shouldn't
are you?
you? That doesn't mean you're
Yeah,
less
well,
talented.
no, but here's the thing is that it was it was an interesting dynamic because I thought, well, now I want the men to really see I'm on stage. I'm still a beautiful woman playing their so-called male instrument, and I'm Sheila E, and I've got a record out, and I'm just gonna be me, and I'm gonna let you just look all over on this, and you can't touch it if you want to. Blah 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 blah, whatever. Right? Just thinking, just young,
Mm-hmm.
and so after a while, like, and I would bring men on. This is where Janet got this from,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Jackson,
I was
if
gonna
you
say.
will.
Mm-hmm.
Would bring the man up on stage, and then I grabbed the man's crotch, and and I'd have my bodyguard put their hands behind their back so they couldn't touch me. And there was this whole routine. And Prince looked at me like, "You are crazy." Like, I didn't think he liked that part, but
Well, yeah,
I
even
was just
more.
doing crazy. Yeah, I was just doing crazy things. It's like I felt like all of the things that they think they can do to me, I'm going to do to you first, and it was
Mm-hmm.
a lashback kind of thing, and just that thing. And then later on, I started feeling naked. And not only that, um, on the reviews, when you get back in the day in the paper, the next day you want to see what did they think about the show in whatever city you played. And I would read the reviews and stuff, and it was amazing. But at the same time, then it became, what is Sheila E not gonna wear tonight? It wasn't about her
Mm-hmm.
solo, the musicianship, the blah blah. No, it was, what is Sheila not gonna wear?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went, oh no, that's not what I'm trying to do. Okay, but I understand and I get it. And then I watched younger girls trying to dress like me at the time, and they're young, and
Sure.
yeah. So it's a balancing act. So
It's a fallacy. Well, before we let you go, I have one more question. What is one piece of advice you would give to women aspiring to succeed in a male-dominated industry?
I look at it as this. I never really say that. I try not to, that we're in a male dominated industry, or because in every workspace that's how it is. It's
Sure.
mostly men. We just pave our way as we pave our way, and we become who we are, and we make a difference by just being ourselves and being who we are and standing in our greatness, loving ourselves first so that you can love other people, not be offended by what they say in a way, but just doing works that are great, and at the best of your ability to be able to just um be who you are. I know that rocks get thrown at us sometimes, but you just brush it off. You stand up and God has created you to be the special person that you are. And you just be that in all its glory. Because if you put yourself in a little box, whatever size box it is, you're not going to allow yourself to grow, and you won't allow God to make your life bigger than you've ever dreamed of, because you're stuck in a box. Be who you are and be free, and just be that confident, beautiful, amazing woman.
Oh my God. I would never put
Sheila
you in a
E.
box, Sheila E.
We are so honored to have you today. Thank you for joining us. It is such a pleasure. And to our listeners, be sure to check out her Grammy nominated album, Belar, available wherever you get your music. When we come back, we're going to do Takeaway with Lonnie. This is Grown Ass Women Talking.
I'm feeling super glamorous right now. Lonnie, how are you feeling? What's the takeaway? What did we learn this week?
Well, first of all, I think, when we talk about dealing with men in a male dominated society, I love the fact that Sheila was so open about, being in a relationship. I think the most important takeaway I got from it is to always be yourself. And sometimes if you feel that little something that doesn't feel right in your gut, things are happening, then it's time for you maybe to get out. It's time for you to speak up, or it's time for you to make a change. It's time for you to try to do something different. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to leave the situation. It just means you have to handle the situation differently. That's what I got from that whole conversation. What about you?
Listen, I am on the same page with you. I think that we as women are very intuitive and we have to listen to our spidey senses. That they don't usually lead us on the wrong path. You know what I mean? Spidey senses are like when you get that little big boo boo boo, this is not the place you should be right now. Like listen to yourself. And I wish we as women would do that more. But I'm so proud of Sheila. Like what a freaking beast. And like she was doing it before any of us, were doing it. So what a wonderful role model. And she's still doing it. And I'm
so proud of her.
So,
She just,
yeah, it's
she
amazing.
doesn't let anybody, even when Prince passed, she was, there were people that were doing tributes. And of course, because of her relationship with them, she wanted to do tributes. And, at times there were people saying, oh, we want the new people and all of this. And she just stayed in there and persisted, and she got what she needed. So I always learn so much.
And she knows her worth.
She knows her worth, and she knows her stuff. So, well, thank you all for joining us for another episode of Grown Ass Women Talking. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram or YouTube at GAWT Pod. Come see me perform live stand up. All my shows are listed on LonnieLove.com. That's LonnieLove.com. Thank you again to Sheila E for joining us.
Sheila.
Check out her Belar. That's her album, wherever you get your music.
Love you all. Wait, what's my thing?
Bye. Love to everyone.
I forgot. Bye. Love to everyone. I know. Grown Ass Women Talking is a collaboration between True Love Productions, Dunnigan Lane Productions, and HARQ Media Productions. Our executive producers are Loni Love, Erica Montalfo, and Siege Pokinghorn.
This episode was produced by Siege Pokinghorn and edited by Nicholas Crawford. Our music is by Cole Curtis. Special thanks to Elizabeth Munch